source of revenue in this aluminum, tin, and plastics process. We do get some money for our tin, but at $10 a ton,
Is that what
It costs
at
more to
$10
drive it down there
a ton,
It costs
it's
practically more to drive
not-
it over there.
everything costs more then.
Yeah.
So what I tell everybody, when people are telling me recycling, it's a good business, yet it makes you sleep well at night, unless you're me. It might make you stay awake at night, because you might have, in the good days, 15 students driving 3 vehicles eventually, and at every and each point in their life, they can make mistakes. The stuff that they're handling, it's, to be honest, dangerous. It's a high-risk activity by all definitions in the world. It's a high-risk activity, what we're doing. And somebody has to do it. And when nothing happens, everybody's happy to report it. You will all report it. We are doing recycling. We're doing so good. Once a little virus gets into one of the students, and the process is not that healthy anymore, suddenly everybody says, maybe there are some risks involved. He's in charge of the program. It's his program. Nobody ever steps and say, I said it was a good idea. That's what keeps me awake at night. And that's why I take all the pointing fingers at, you said that recyclables should be tossed into the trash? How dare you? I dare, because such is life. And I take responsibility, you know. It can be published. You're going to put it on the internet.
Sure.
If it goes viral that Eddie says toss it into the trash, and he made a demo in front of everybody, guess what? I'll sleep well at night. This is who I am. That's what it is. That's real life. It's not academia, it's real life. And if you want to go into the business of recycling, you should know very well what you're getting into. And the foremost, if you go into the business of recycling, and probably now he's gonna jump on me, but we're on the break, it's okay. Everybody tells you that recycling is a sustainable business. The first definition, I'm a business major, by the way. I have a business degree. So, the business definition of a sustainable business, it's a business that breaks even. Which means, I put in $2 into this business, however I put it in, and I extract out of the business, at the end of the day, my $2 back. That's a sustainable business. Whatever everybody will call it. At the end of the day, if the business runs like my business, like a recycling program, we put in $100,000 every year into this sustainable business because we're saving the planet and we're doing the right thing for the greater good, and we make about $10,000. So we're spending $9 on every and each dollar that we're making. Show me somebody who will invest in this wonderful business. Tell me somebody who says, I'm going to give you $9 if you give me back $1, because I'm a real business person. Who's going to do it? People will do, I'll give you $1 if you give me $1. I'll give you a paper dollar if you give me 4 quarters back. I'm going to do it because I like you. I'm going to take the flak, I'm going to carry the weight. But that's about as far as the business goes. Reality of life. So if you go into the business of recycling, and I hope you will do at one point in time, look at your numbers and find a way to finance your business to make it sustainable. It's a great notion to be in this business, but it's good to have a reality check and say, yes, I'll work on a grant base. I'll work on a donation base. I'll work on a service base. We'll go at the end of here. I'll go into the wrapping up, into the business of.
Yeah. So and we've got, I guess we've got about 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
So is that going to work?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were talking about how useful plastics are and how we at the university are collecting, sorting, and sending down the road our plastics. We gotta look, as anybody else, at the economy, the dollar flow of the plastics. They are a valuable material for the people that are making objects and products out of them. Some of them are cheaper or more expensive than. So basically about 6 of those bottles would become the lenses of my glasses. They're the same material. They're just slightly improved, and it's a different structure and process, but the base material, it's the same. This bottle, probably it's a fraction of a penny in cost. So let's say 5 fractions of the penny will go as material into this one, but at the end of the day, the manufacturer of these glasses would extract about $50 out of this plastic. Well, this guy will extract about a fraction of a penny. So the business of plastics, it's where in this is a high-end usage of the material. This is a low end of the usage. We as humans, we need both. What we do, I need about a pair of glasses every year. We drink about a bottle every day. So usage-wise, they almost balance each other. Money-wise, it's a different story. The business of plastics, it's a good business to be in. Like the person who invented the sorting machine, he had the choice of getting into the oil industry in the 80s, so 30 years ago. His father-in-law was one of the people who had money and said, I'm going to bring you into the oil industry and that's going to grow. It's good money maker. He said, no, I'll get a PhD in plastics because that's where my heart is. I want to do better plastics. I'm going to recycle plastics that you guys are making out of the oil. And father-in-law told that guy, there is no money in recycling. 30 years down the road, his father-in-law retired with not much money. He, in the recycling sort of business, is making tons of money. Because he's providing the equipment. So many times it's just like in gold prospecting. The guy who makes money out of gold prospecting, It's the guy who provides the shovel, not the one who grabs the gold, not the one who counts the gold. He's the one who gives the shovel. This guy went into the shovel making. But what I recommend everybody, if you go into the business of plastics, there is money to be made. The only real problem, the money are not into the collecting and sorting stage. It's very little money into the collecting and sorting stage. Plastics being so omnipresent could be collected from anywhere, could be easily sorted, and could be sold down the road. In small communities like Missoula is, including the whole valley, all 5 valleys, let's put it, the whole county, it's something that would be called, from a plastics recycling perspective, it's a small community. We don't have the volume and the means to access the direct market of plastics. The direct market says a minimum of 10 tons per transaction. It takes 16 bottles, the big ones, to make a pound of plastic. So in order to make 10 tons of that plastic, and it's got to be all green ones. It's got to be all transparent, hence we put the transparent and the translucent. It's got to be a uniform material, same quality in almost every and each aspect of it. Could be different brand names, but the bottle should be green. So 10 tons of it for a small collector and sorter will not make. And I'm just guessing. I'm putting a dollar. The price on that plastic, probably it's not going to go more than tens of dollars. It's going to be under $100 per ton of plastic in that quality. So as a small collector and sorter of recyclables, you will never ever be able to make the money. But again, a small community, if it's morally invested in the environment and and it makes the decision to do their part into the saving and preserving the environment for future generations, which is almost the case. Most of the people that are responsible adults have somewhere in their family or extended family children that will inherit whatever we leave behind. It could be a huge pile of rubbish against I-90, nicely buried, with the gases extracted and nicely burned out of it. Or it could be a business that moves away this stream either into new products that are made here and delivered to somebody else or to our own community, or move towards greater things down the road. But what the community does, it does understand, once it understands the value, the big value of the plastics, they will be able to, and they usually are, to pick up the difference for the people that are doing the business. So if I start tomorrow here, let's say tomorrow I'm going to start a recycling business. I'll call it a recycling business so everybody understands what I'm talking about. And I'm going to collect plastics from as many people as I can from here in order to sell them down the river to somebody else. and that's my business model, I'm gonna ask not, obviously, I hope I'll get the plastics for free. But what I'm gonna ask the community, I'm gonna ask the community to pick up the difference between the dollar that I'm making and the $9 that I have to plow into my business to function. And that one, I would call it a service charge. I ask the community to pay me for my effort and for my expenses in order to be able to collect all these plastics from everywhere and send them somewhere else to be better managed. And this is where a business will function. You can add into the business, you can do a money injection, you can add money from grants, from low interest loans, but always be savvy what you're getting into. It could work. Plastics are valuable. They really are. The best way to do it, it's again, join forces with somebody else. The best way to do as humans is to cooperate. We do cooperate fairly well. We don't always believe that, but we do cooperate. And the reason why I'm saying this, you might not be very business savvy, but you can always join forces with somebody who's business savvy only. You know your recycling part of the business, and you can get somebody who has no clue whatsoever about the plastics, but they are good at counting dimes and dollars, and they know exactly how to get the money and how to extract the money. And they'll tell you, you know, Eddie, you're using $9 to make $1. Let's see how we can make the ends meet. And we have $10 coming in, $10 coming out of this business. That's why you would cooperate with somebody else. And it's possible. But it's all in cooperation. It's all in finding the funding of this. Questions?
I have another one that's been burning for a while, and and we've talked about it a little bit. And when we first met at your shop at the beginning of the semester, you told me what the university pays for the landfill fee, somewhere on the order of $400,000. And there's also additional fees if there's a large object and the guys have to get out of the truck, et cetera, et cetera. So, I've done my own little math, back of the envelope calculation at my own waste stream at my house. In fact, at the very early week or two, we'd have everyone sort of analyze their own waste stream. Here's what I sort, here's what I try to do. I've been able, to some extent, or I think to as great an extent as I can, to have no landfill service at my house. There was one day where I walked out with my little tiny bag and I threw it in the back of the truck. They're like, no, you didn't pay. I said, well, so I got to figure out what to do with this 5 pounds of garbage each week. So and I'm writing a book about it, et cetera. So my question is, could, with I don't know, on average $300,000 per year or $350,000 per year, or some number less than $400,000 per year, could we invest in the proper infrastructure? So, for example, conveyor belt where it's more or less like a big clean room, and instead of the masks and the gowns, the recyclers are more or less they've got full gloves, no vapor content, and just doing exactly what you did today in a systematic way where we don't have any landfill at all. The metals go here, the plastics go here, the organics go there. I mean, is that somehow we could make it profitable? I mean, maybe you don't make a whole bunch of money on the materials, but you're spending the money on sorting and shipping and collection rather than landfilling. Does that seem, how big of a fantasy am I living in here, I guess?
You are living the fantasy. And the reason behind it,
Yeah.
remember what I told you about the business of any business? So what the landfill company, so the company that picks up our solid waste from the university, we are paying the famous $350,000, that's a rough number, the $350,000 not really on the waste that they are carrying. What we are doing, we are in the same contract that me and you would be if you would be my recycling business. We are paying for the service of getting the waste removed.
Yeah.
A simple hypothetical situation. There are communities, large communities. We're talking communities the size of New York, the size of London, the size of Paris and Berlin and Rome, that are paying. In Germany, it's very well known for this one in Europe, paying by the weight of their waste. So the business model in Germany in waste removal got to the individual level, to the family level, to the place where I pay as I use. So if he in Germany makes 5 pounds of trash per week, he's gonna pay 5 cents that week. His neighbor who makes 500 pounds is gonna pay 5 euros for the service. And that's pay as you use. A ton of waste, it's about $120 to be dumped and stored on the big pile. So if we would be to pay only for the material that we're dumping over there, our expenses would be a lot smaller. But how many of the 15,000 people in this house that's called the University of Montana will go to the landfill to put their trash and to the recycling to put their recyclables? That's where the service, the mechanics of the community don't work. And it takes how many people to make a good process really bad? It takes only one out of 15,000. We live in an imperfect world for now. We can tweak the process. We could probably change the process, modify it, but for the foreseeable future, we will still have a waste stream and a recycling stream. The mix, how that mix goes, it's in the future.
Yeah.
I cannot even guess.
Yeah.
I can only hope, but.
Thanks, that's a great answer. One more question, then we got a break.
I'm thinking.
I can tell, I can see the wheels turning.
Okay, but technically though, okay, so from what Dr. Layton gave about, having a place to do all of it, make it nice and pretty. The possibility is because that it couldn't work is because of us, the people. But let's say that if people didn't put the trash in the bag, if everybody was on board do you think that it would be, I mean, not right away, but at some point, if you didn't have that one person, but if you were starting a business, you would have to account for that one person and have protocols and procedures to take care of that, like take them out back, in the alley, behind the dumpster, and fix that problem.
It's,
I mean,
it's been done. On a personal note,
yeah.
my son lived for 5 weeks in a Japanese university in a small community college in Japan. Lived in a residence hall. Let's not call it dorm because it's not politically correct anymore. And each night at 9 o'clock sharp, at the end of the hallway, just like here, rooms along the hallway, and at the end of the hallway there is a chute for waste. Stainless steel lid that comes out as a table. You put your trash, you close the lid, trash goes down the hole to be never seen again. And somebody else does that for us because we're students here. We're here to learn not to manipulate waste. Along the hallway before the trash chute, there were totes, about 15 of them for everything that's recyclable. I have recycling instructions, and I wish I would have brought it on a single page so I don't exhaust the people that are trying to read it. I don't make a big reading. The recycling instructions on that small university it's a sheet the size, half the size of this table, on both sides, prices included. A TV set to be recycled, it's 300 yen if you pull it out. So, 9 o'clock at night, the totes are lining the hallway, and there is a recycling assistant, which is actually the resident assistant for the hallway, who's in charge with all the activities on that level. It's waiting for you. The students are bringing their waste bag and recycling bag. On the way to the chute, they drop the recyclables in their totes, and they empty, and the bags are about just like this. They empty their bag, the recycling bag is empty, and they pocket it. And the waste bag, they open and they toss it on the table. What's that? That's a plastic lid. How dare you pick it up? Oh, didn't see it. Pardon me. Put it into the plastic lids tote. And that's how it's done. 100% recyclables are recycled, and only waste goes through the chute. Okay, so Shelley, every night at 9 o'clock, you shall have 2 little bags, and you will be the subject of this guy. How would that work? I know. She wants to be that guy. But that's so, it's a whole different level that has to change the mentality of the whole society.
Well,
It
let's
has to
implement
change.
that here.
It all comes with the education. If I'll give you half an acre of instructions, you're gonna tell me, you must be kidding me. Give it to me in 3 sentences.
Well, actually, I do have a.
Or you do it for me.
Can we or somebody, if they took what you have done and re-modified it to something a little more simpler?
I'd love it.
Would you be willing to?
Would you be willing to do
Yeah,
it?
Well, yeah,
I'll send the email to you.
yeah.
We'll do it as part of our.
That's a good,
Yeah,
that would be a
make it more
wonderful,
easier. I see that, my eyeballs hurt.
that would be a wonderful process, because it's the same with 4 labels on the bins. The same amount of, almost the same amount of information went from this into this. I try to make it as simple as possible to be read and understood,
Because you are in Montana. you have to
Because-
scale down on.
but let's not forget, there will be the person that doesn't want to do it. Very simple.
All right,
Recyclable monitor.
Eddie, thank you very much. That was
Thank you.
fantastic, okay. Perfect timing.